The world is a global village.
And that's because information travels beyond boundaries.
And on this morning on ITV,
we guarantee unbiased analysis on topical issues
that will educate you,
entertain you.
So join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Every Sunday to Thursday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on your ultimate news and current affairs program on television. This morning on ITV TMI. Join us.
Welcome. Thank you for joining me on TMI Tuesday, this 365th day of the outgoing year 2019. I did say we're looking at the counter-insurgency, what the government, the military of the nation has done in degrading the activities of the Boko Haram sect. And to a huge extent, we look at the year 2015, 2016, when military campaigns were up, and to a great extent, the group was degraded and losing a lot of territories that were under their control. But 2019, a perspective of this took another turn, different turns, where you could say that the sect shifted ground to another strategy or tactics. And just the recent one over the killing of some Christians, where reactions are really coming up, and the president saying that this is an act of bringing a religious war, trying to bring Muslims and Christians at loggerheads, which we must avoid. Well, looking at this counterinsurgency, the 2019 perspective, I have with me in the studio from my extreme left, the General Overseer of Rest and Blessed Glorious Assembly, the senior pastor particularly. He is Omogbe Egwagie. Thank you for coming, Pastor Omogbe.
Thank you. Good morning. God bless you.
And next to him, I have the president of AFED, Association for Formidable Education and Development, and he is an executive director of Africa Emancipation Movement, Osagie God-Sent Erunse. And Osagie God-Sent Erunse is also a media influencer, social media influencer, looking at what we've got on this. Very much
Thank you.
Great to have you join me.
My pleasure again. Good morning to you. Good morning, viewers. It's my pleasure. Merry Christmas.
All right, I choose to start with you, Osagie, looking at what is turning in. 2019 happens to be the 11th year the conflict in the Northeast has been on, and looking at from 2009 till date. And can we say in this year, 2019, there has been a better tone in the country's military degrading the control activities of the sect?
Anyway, it depends from what angle we are going to look at that, because we are not just looking at as it affects Boko Haram only, we are looking at the generality of security. So if we are going to score the military or the security agent on that ground, we have not really done so well. Granted, festive period like this, there used to be in the past few years, there used to be this tension. We used to hear a lot of bomb blasts here and there and all of that. It's quite mild this period. But notwithstanding, we have to look at it holistically. Have we done well as a nation in terms of security? Okay? What is currently the strength of the insurgents, Boko Haram to be very precise? We just heard what happened recently about the killings of Christians. Then again, going further, beside Boko Haram, we have the bandits. Currently we are all witness to the fact that a lot of people have gone missing. And even when we know there are suspected hideouts, we tend to still be handicapped. I mean, our security agents, in terms of going for these bandits and bringing them to justice. Then moving away from that, we still have the issue of herdsmen and farmers crisis. So generally speaking, that's the reason why I said it depends on the angle from which we are looking at it. If we are going to score ourselves in terms of security, I would not like to give it to the security agent holistically. Security-wise, till date, we still sleep with one eye open. So we have to look at it in an holistic view. Why we cannot deny the fact that there is a little reduction in the bomb blast here and there from the insurgents. We must come to the reality, the fundamental question that we still have to ask ourselves is, are we still secured? Are we safe? Does every Nigerian, I mean the ordinary Nigerians there, that does not have, access to personal security or bodyguards, do they still feel secure? When you drive through the highways, do you still think or feel secure? Up to 3 weeks ago, we still had an issue of kidnapping case in the Benin-Auchi Road, just about 3-4 weeks back. You see, so we have to look at it holistically. Are we safe? Are we secured? The international community, do they still perceive Nigeria as a secure country? Speaking generally. So on that note, I would say no. The security agencies has to do more for Nigeria.
Okay.
Because one of the points I want to make clear is, for us, security is not a privilege, it's a right. It's a constitutional right. And any government we vote into power holds the ordinary Nigerians that basic fundamental constitutional obligation to secure the lives and properties of every Nigerian, irrespective of religious or ethnic affiliation. These are the underlying issues. Okay. And I think we should also, part of the reasons why I don't want to give it to the security agent is because over the years, because of the challenge with our security as a nation, we have seen a lot of billions of naira voted into that department to ensure that securities are beefed up. If you look at the moral motivation, the encouragement, financial allotment that have gotten into the military and other security agencies over these years of insurgency, and compared to the results that we have, for me personally, it's not impressive. We still have to buckle up and do more because Nigerians expect more in terms of security of life, properties, and our businesses.
Okay. We take your viewpoint, Egwage, looking at what was credited to the coordinating spokesperson of the Nigerian military, Ilyasu Aminu, where he did say that to a great extent they've degraded the insurgents in the northeast, basically as they've been able to continue hunting the fleeing insurgents, and in the course of that, they've been able to recover vehicles and even weapons of these insurgents. Isn't this laudable in 2019?
To me, to some extent, it's laudable because we are seeing the intensive work of the military to put an end to this trend of insurgency. And prior to what they are doing, we know by all they have, with all they put together, they've done everything they could do to stop the art of this killing. But by and large, we the populace, we are not comfortable with what we are seeing so far. But we still want the government to do everything they could do to put this menace to a stop, because we are not happy with what we are seeing, the drive towards the insurgency and whatever so-called terrorist group. So we want to beg the government not to relent their effort, to do whatever they can do best to make sure this issue doesn't degenerate to that we react to religious issues.
Okay. In 2019, just earlier this year, where we had issues about over 750 security casualties of the security forces, really, were witnessed. And to a great extent, some would say that it was like the sect shifted ground to the security forces. Now, what do you see as a loophole in the side of the military that should really be tackled?
Let me quickly say that, see, the people that perpetrate this dastardly act are not spirits. They are human beings. Let me quote the late Sonny Abacha. In one of his words, he said, every act of insurgency that lasts above 48 hours means that there is an internal betrayal. There is a sentiment and religious, coloration.
You mean to say within the military?
Yes, generally. We have had situations in this, within this year where some military personnel, though the military general on some occasions denies such people, have come out to say there is a lot of betrayals within the military. There is a lot of, okay, how does this this insurgent gets their information? How come they know when to strike? And many a times, when they strike close to even the city. So it's not even like it's not like all their operations are in the remote areas of Bonu or what have you, some of these northeast states, even close to the cities. Sometimes they even attack the military garrison. I mean, their sport or their barrack. They're even attacked. So if the military are not safe, what do you expect of an ordinary civilian like me? If it is possible for the insurgents to enter the confines or the armory or all the gallantness of the security apparatus and, you know, destabilize them, what do you expect of an ordinary person like me? So I think there's a problem with secrecy of informations. That's the reason why on this platform I've called before for a total overhauling of our security architecture.
But again, if you say that, in what direction do you mean it should be overhauled?
We have to look at, for example, let me give you this vivid issue that happened sometime this year. There was a certain situation where the leader of one of the bandits group was caught, you know, and the confession was everywhere. You know, when those 3 policemen were killed in one of the northern states, you know, the confession was revelational. He accused the military. He said things like some of them are under his payroll. Now, that is already a tip of the iceberg. And before that confession, there have been all kinds of allegations. There are some soldiers that have come out to say they were sent on a mission. They didn't know how these guys knew. So there's a lot of sabotage within the military. Okay. Whether you call it the soldier or the police force, there's a lot of sabotage. And that's where the overhauling has to start from. See, let me say this. Security is not, that's part of what I've always said is that when it comes to Africa, we try to mystify everything. We try to complicate everything. We have insurgents in Nigeria. We also have in other parts, we have terrorists in America and other parts of the world. But the level at which these guys are having a fanfare in wasting lives and property in this nation is alarming.
Okay, let me stop
currently, it is said that close to 2 million Nigerians are currently displaced in their own country.
Okay, let me stop you there. Let's look at what the statement credited to the chairman on Senate Committee on the Army, Ali Ndume, where he did say that the cries over the change of service chiefs and the military leadership, really that the president can't do a change over that now because this precarious situation we are in, Nigeria is in a complete war. Do you see that statement as the right statement?
To him, he may be right. He's trying to bring us some point whereby the president will be very, very observant to look at some area whereby these people that are working now should be checkmate. But to me, if anybody is going to come aboard to take over where we can have a possible impact to the governmental issues we are having in this nation, the change is loaded. Now, what we're talking about is
change is needed.
It's needed. It's needed.
Okay, but looking at, I know you are not a security expert, but don't you think?
But to some extent, we have.
Don't you think if we are to take a dive into the critical security direction, that it is unwise to do any changes when there is war?
It's not unwise.
As put by Ali Ndume.
My friend just said something just now. You see, these people that are in charge, sometimes they may be very key to these people that are fighting against them. Now, when you discover that these people, they are not in a good order, they can be changed at any given time. The change is not what I'm talking about, but who are those that will take responsibility to stand in a point of time to say, this is what we are going to do and achieve a laudable result? That is what the nation needs. Now, we should not just be standing and be chipping blame to people, the government and the military, whatever. It's time we should take responsibility, both the populace and the government. This security of a thing is a collective responsibility. It's not just for the government or the people in charge or the military. It's both we that are the citizens of Nigeria and the government. So if you go to advanced nation, everybody is a military man. Both the civilian, both the people working on the street, they are part of the military. If they see anything happening that is not conducive to their environment, they call the police. Well, how many of us are doing that here? So we should not be just over-concerned about the lack of our government.
Okay, that brings us to the statement credited to Burutai, where he did say that this war, this fight against the insurgents, is beyond kinetic military warfare, which means it doesn't end with the military. There should be other ways in ending this war. What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, be that as it may, while I would like to agree to that, there are many ways to end the war. But I would like to say Buratai must not try to shift responsibility. You know, I have said on this platform many months ago, early this year, when I don't know if the statement was credited to him or one of the service chiefs, said we should give them what they need so that we can have peace. I said if he's not ready to do the job, he should get out of there. You know, he should get out of there.
There shouldn't be any negotiation.
No, like I said earlier on, there are different ways to attack in terms of war. Why? There's nothing wrong with negotiation. But the rule of negotiation is who is bringing the bargaining chips on the table? Who is dictating the rules of engagement? You know, that's another side of the story. But the military must not be seen to be weak. The Nigerian military must not be seen as a force that does not have the competence or the wherewithal to secure the average Nigerians. Because that was exactly what they swore to. And I don't understand when you say in terms of war, the president cannot change. The president, according to our constitution, is the first and the highest chief security officer of this nation. What we need is result, not sentiment. It's not about the person the president is comfortable with. It's about, are the lives of the ordinary Nigerians in the Northeast safe? Are they free to walk in and out, to trade? What is our perception in the international community? Can we attract more foreign investors? Because if you look at this year precisely, a lot of foreign investors have turned down on Nigerians on security grants. That the nation is not safe. And no businessman wants to waste his resources. You see, so I don't want Buratai to start trying to find a way to tactically shift responsibilities. It is his duty to combat it. Granted, there are other interventions that have to come in, which I know some groups have already been doing. Just a few days ago, I was watching on a unity march in one of the Northeast states that's currently going on, among, just as a part of the ways measure to rehabilitate those that went out of home, that were displaced by the insurgents. You know, there's a unity march going on, trying to see how to bring them together. You know, nothing is wrong with negotiation, as long as we are the one dictating the tune. Not a negotiation that we end up, see, there's one crazy thing I've never been in support of. That we end up you giving someone amnesty that have wasted blood. And at the end of the day, you say, after all, they gave Niger Delta boys amnesty. It's not the kind of negotiation that will make a sitting governor say you can even contest for presidency if you like. Okay. We have to be able to draw the boundaries. The insurgent are intelligent people. They have experts behind them. They have access to ammunition. Too. You know, some time ago this year, these people displayed their ammunition.
All right, thank you.
So we must be able to have these boundaries and bring about the check and balances. These people must not perceive our military or our police forces to be weak and fearful.
Thank you. In case you're just joining us, it's TMI Tuesday, and the topic is countering insurgency in Nigeria. And looking at the 2019 perspective, we will be extending the frontiers of this discussion after this break. Don't you go away.
It's mobile.
Trends and social media craze amongst today's youth cannot be overemphasized. Hence, week in, week out, we are here, doing everything possible to share with you the happenings down there.
I'm not going to leave this place. We're in front of you. There is nothing like by force. You can't force me. Can you touch me? Is it part of your rights to touch me?
The support and the love is real.
Thank you, the fans who have hung around. Thank you for 2018. 2019, expect more madness.
My phone wants to blow up.
He has a sexual problem, a disease.
I know you know my baby, Burna Boy. Yeah.
That's a great record. That's a great record.
That's your baby? That's my baby, babe. Ooh.
My name is Sidney Shocker. Join me every Thursday evening, 4:30 p.m. on ITV on Social Trend. Don't miss out.
Thank you for joining me on TMI Tuesday. While we had a break, we had the opportunity to enjoy the presence of a human rights activist the President One Love Foundation, and also known as Ultimate Equal, Patrick Osagie Eholo. Many thanks for coming, Patrick.
Thank you for having me, and thank you, viewers. I wish you a happy new year in advance.
Well, I hope you didn't have any challenge coming here, being the last day of the year 2019. How was the traffic?
Well, traffic was not that great. I think they're doing better. They can do greater than what they're doing, really.
Okay.
Because we had men deployed, and especially advise these tuk-tuk drivers and other road users. This is a Christmas period that we must respect the right of each other.
Okay.
I think we can really do better.
Okay, keying into the topic where we have the perspective of this year 2019 on countering insurgency, do you see the position of the nation's military as really winning the war? Because if we take a retrospect back to 2015 and 2016 military campaigns, where to a great extent the Boko Haram sect was degraded. Can we say there is an improvement on that issue?
I would not really say there is an improvement on it at all. You know, I think we have gallant military men, we have gallant soldiers, we have capable and efficient men and women. You know, but the issue that we have is again is corruption among the high-ranking officials in the military. It will surprise you that a lot of money had been budgeted to buy military hardware and equipment, but because of the taste of dollar and the greed that they have, you know, most of these superior officers are no more soldiers.
If you say most, don't you think that's too bogus? Or do you say some?
There's another. Most of them.
I'm telling you most because
Most.
when I used to know most that
A businessman.
who would have condemned what they are doing, they condone it. I'm not saying all of them were giving the money at the time, but those who did not condemn it, it means that they condone it. That's why I say most of them, because when I was growing up, military was military. They were not about money. They were about protecting the borders and protecting the country as a whole, and also upholding their legacy. But unfortunately, nobody lives for legacy again. Everybody now lives for dollars and dollars. And it might surprise you whether it's true or not.
Okay, if you say that could be the reason for the little drop in the fight, insurgency fight, what about the aspect of the 2015 and 2016 war that got the Boko Haram sect degraded to a great extent?
Well, you know what happens,
by
how
degraded.
they become popular and how they become notorious because things were not done properly. That again go into what I fight against today as regards to extrajudicial killings, okay? When the head of the Boko Haram sect were arrested and given to police, police claimed that in an attempt to run, they shot him dead. That's what caused this man. You see, if we allow police to do the police work, and the police do the work properly, we will not be here today. And if we also allow police to do the work that they're supposed to be doing, this insurgency will be driven away within a very short time.
But when you say allow, what do you mean? Are they not allowed? Are they not the legal law enforcement agents to do that?
No, in our country, the military do the police work. It's not like that, okay? The military are meant to protect porous borders.
Yeah, territory.
Okay? The police are meant to do the police work. So police are people who are close to us as civilians. Police are those who also have some of their own in our midst for what they call information, gather information. I am not going to give a military man information. First of all, I'm scared to death when I see with military attires, okay? And that's why the country is like this, because those who do the right thing, they are not given the opportunity to serve this country. We have what you call now, for example, the federal character. Does it really work? When you have about 95% of the northerners holding all the important positions in this country. When you talk about the military head, it's a northerner. Again, it should not be a problem if they were doing what is right. But if now you involve favoritism or nepotism, it becomes a problem. Custom head, Hausa man. DSS head, Hausa man. Immigration man, Hausa man. I don't have problem with the Hausa man, but I have problem with their selective ways of, appointees, because you cannot say we have what they call federal character, and then you have that people from the north. You see, what we are going through today is an overwhelming anger of those who are dissatisfied on how the government of the day is being run.
Okay, thank you. Now let's look at the aspect of religious intolerance, which greatly the strategy of this sect seems to be focusing on, where some Christians were reported killed in the video footage. Now, what do you see as the way out of this mess in bringing about respite in terms of religious intolerance in Nigeria?
Thank you very much. My fear is that this group, this so-called Boko Haram, they are faceless organization. They've not defined their purpose. They should tell Nigerians what fight are they for. Are they fighting against Christians? Are they fighting against the government? Because their slogan is that they are fighting against the Western education. That's what they came up with. But with what you are seeing so far, they are taking it to a religious angle. So we should not be comfortable for we Christians. So we, as we speak, we are not comfortable with what we are seeing so far. Despite the condolence greeting from the president and all that, the president of Khan just said, we are tired of the condolence visit. Let us have a constructive plan to stop this menace. So to me, at this point in time, we are not going to be allowing these brutal people, these heartless so-called Boko Haram to cross the border and go into the area of religious issues. So we are not comfortable with what we are seeing so far. But to me, the way we are looking at things so far, it's like they are taking it to the extreme. So by this, at this junction, we are not comfortable with what we are seeing so far.
Okay, don't you empathize with the federal government in this direction, where it seems to every Nigerian that the sect is trying to strike a war between Muslims and Christians?
Let me remind you, Phil, that this struggle has been on for over a decade. That's over 10 years. It didn't just start yesterday. Neither did it start with the beheading of some Christians. Khan has been patiently watching, receiving condolence upon condolence. Yeah. Of course, we are aware that even on some few occasions, people of the other faith have also been killed. But what are the underlying issues? You know, one of the things I always like to say is this. If we have a security problem, granted, we are not the only nation that have a security problem. America have its own security problem. Britain have its own security problem, what have you. But how are they able to tackle it? Let me remind you that when we had the help of a foreign expatriate, some of these foreigners in one of the nations that came to help our security system to see how we can defeat them. At the end of the day, at the verge of leaving, they said they were leaving before the breach of the contract. They breached the contract. They ended the contract abruptly, saying that Nigerians were not ready to deal with their security issues. So, you see, there are a lot of statements that have gone that we cannot just sweep under carpet. So we must start asking ourselves, where is the position of our social justice system? That's why I said anything that comes to Nigeria is complicated. If a government representative was here, I will tell you are not there, you don't understand, you don't. But other nations are confronted with you. Do you know how many countries of the world today, how many religious sects want to bring to America? Granted, there are pockets of attacks here and there, but compared to the Nigeria situation, see, we are in a situation where the ordinary Nigerians have lost confidence in the security of this country. Because you can be picked anytime, any day. You will even be in a nearby bush and nobody will know. Some of these bandits or these kidnappers have carried some of the people I know around cities, the whole city. When they come across policemen, they just hail or they give them change and they move ahead. Because the policemen on the highway have targets to meet. They have targets to meet in terms of remuneration. So their business is to collect money and remunerate. So the whole system is disorganized. We have to go back to the foundation. See, there's only one thing needed for criminality to thrive. When people perceive that the social justice system is biased.
till date, how many Boko Haram do you have that is being tried in our court?
Okay.
How many of them are currently being tried?
I'll come back to you.
These are the issues.
Let's look at the aspects where Osage got sent earlier in the conversation. Did say that the aspect of granting amnesty by the federal government to de-radicalized former members of Boko Haram is not a welcome development. Do you concur?
Well, first of all, if they are going to do that, and they felt that will reduce the insurgency, there had to be consultation. Anything is possible. That's why you have what they call a plea bargain in the court of law. Some criminals can be pardoned for security reasons. They can't be pardoned for security reasons. If they said we're going to drop our arms, there will be no more insurgency. We're sorry, we've caused a lot of sorrow, tears and blood to this country. And the government feel that will stop the killing. Again, they can be certain
terms of agreement
we can give when we can do it. That's what they call a plea bargain. But however, let me also say that my namesake says something about 610. Okay, I want to let the viewer, so we don't confuse the viewer, that we don't have a system in Nigeria. There's no system.
That is your opinion. That's your opinion, because whenever we're on this set, I will say that you have an exciting way of throwing fossilades.
No.
These are the realities of ground.
Because of throwing that, I get some bruises. And I will wonder that because
the way I system.
Yes.
It was not interesting.
I like your line of thoughts. I like your line of thoughts. But
but I'm saying that we don't have a system.
Okay, let him clarify.
Before you went on break, or before my namesake came in, and we're talking about why the insurgency is still on. We're talking about why most of the superior officers were corrupt. But today, there's a serving general that has been detained in America for $16 million.
Fraud.
How did that money disappear from here there? They discovered because the woman was spending very recklessly, the wife, and the American concern was concerned. What are you doing? What did you do? They beam on her, and they find out that from Nigeria that have no roads here, 16 million have vanished from here to America. If there was a system, it would not work. How did the money get there? Again, let's leave that one now. We already know there's no system.
Okay, but I think better put, what you should say is that the system isn't working as expected.
No. Listen,
not that there isn't a system.
Listen, you cannot say the brake is not working.
Because the world doesn't allow it.
You cannot say the brake is not working as expected. If there's no brake in your car,
is there there's brake or there's no brake?
There's no way to that, okay? All right, so let me just finish on this, please.
All right.
And, no apology to the NBC, but if any of my viewers are offended, I apologize, but not to the NBC. The NBC, they give room to those who want to speak.
Okay, no need to go far on that. Just go straight to the point.
I'm not as smart as you. Don't let me lose my train of thought. You're watching me, okay? Just calm down, please, okay? What I'm saying is that if the account are making statements, this is not the first time beheading has been going on. Okay, we shouldn't make it a Christian and Muslim issue. We should make it a security issue. If you watch 2 days ago in Somalia, 95 people died on bomb blasts from this same militants. It's only in Nigeria. If you watch in Syria, if you watch in Lebanon, if you watch in Afghanistan, these things happen everywhere. We should not make it an affair of Christians and Muslims. They are good Muslims. They are also good Christians. But with the South, because we are, majority of us here are Christian, we should look inward. Are the Christian leaders doing the right thing in this country? Or they are creating billboards and saying, if you donate 1,000, you go to heaven? You can't make heaven if you donate 1 million.
Many people like that.
I'm talking about life crusades when people say you want to have blessings. You have to put.
No, people can sow seed in the Bible.
What is the seed? The seed in the Bible was not defined like that. Even when the missionaries were here, to help us as very poor people. But missionaries did not have private jet. They didn't have school they would deny your children to attend. As a matter of fact, the missionary increased on our own literacy because they were encouraging us to go to school. Okay, even you know the story of Lester that stopped the killings of triplets and twins, because for us, we were so myopic thinking that if you have twins or triplets, they are caused, they are very caused. So what I'm saying is that instead of we Christians trying to attack the norm or make it a religious issue, we should look inward to ourselves. Are we doing the right thing to ourselves? Are we educating our people enough, or are we brainwashing them? Today now, there is no education out there. Today now, we are talking about people sowing seed for children abroad, sowing seed for buying a car. If you believe here, I see people having 18 houses and
let's go into the issue, please.
How can you claim a Prado and a house?
Let's go to the...
Is that a good mentorship?
I think a lot needs to be done in the area of religious groups.
Okay, Luther King didn't do that.
Okay.
When there were issues in America, Luther King used Christianity, used the name of God, okay, to deliver us from the hands of the white people.
Thank you. But I'm taking you back to your train of thoughts,
yes,
like you did say, but without distorting the train of thoughts.
Thank you, yes.
Now, you made mention of the fact that it isn't wrong. It could be in the good direction if the government gives a grant amnesty to these de-radicalized former members of the sect.
Of course.
But again, you are a human rights activist.
Yes.
The atrocities, the humanitarian crisis committed in all of this, how will they be integrated back to society that once we are victims?
Yeah, okay.
Is it that
you
a challenge?
asked me a question. Now, I thank God for the viewers and thank my brother. So let me answer that question in a very simple term. We are going to seek for justice. We are going to look for justice. Let me tell you something now, my brother, okay? This story was from a woman from Rwanda, not from me. I'm not the author. We can never get justice, but we can seek for forgiveness. Because justice is a boomerang. It's 360. What it means is that if you hurt me, I'm going to hurt you back. It means that it's going to be a cycle. It's going to be a vicious cycle. So a woman in Rwanda, okay, when the Hutus were fighting, a woman was captured by a soldier. They tie her handbag, they kill the husband, they kill the children, and throw her into the sea to die. But miraculously, she survived, she didn't die. After the war, there were reconciliation. They find the soldier man who tied her to die, and they call her, what are your conditions? How do you want us to kill this guy? He said, no, please. If you are going to let the soul of my husband, my children, my pain to go, I'm not seeking justice. I'm seeking forgiveness. I forgive you. Today, that same man who murdered the children and the husband, they are friends. Let us find a way to seek forgiveness instead of seeking justice. We can never get justice. The only person that can give you justice is God.
It's great you are saying this, the very last day of the outgoing year 2019. 365th day is awesome. And you are sitting in between a clergy.
And I'm not a pastor or a reverend.
And you are in white. You are putting on white. So that's a great symbol of attracting goodness, righteousness.
Thank you.
Now, let's look in the direction of the year 2020. 2019 is fastly rolling out. We have less than 16 hours, if I'm correct, less than 16 hours to navigate through. And looking at what we have in the year 2020 as regards countering insurgency and bringing healing to religious groups, what agenda are you setting?
Thank you very much. We've seen the state government, they are setting their budget, everybody planning for the 2020. My whole target is this is a promising year. It has a very good looking focus, and everybody should look forward to how we move towards the direction whereby we'll be highly protected by God's hand. We are not going to leave God alone in this matter. God must be involved. If we are going to make it through, we'll be successful in 2020, God must be highly involved. And on the government side, I want to beg them, they should not relent their effort. Every hands must be on deck to bring out the best for the populace.
Mostly when Leah Sharibo is still in captivity alongside other...
Who's aware? I mean, are we sure that guy is still alive?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking you.
I'm asking.
Are we sure that she's still alive?
And I'm throwing back the question to you. All right, thank you. So let's get a few points in this direction of the year 2020.
Biblically, no nation is governed by mercy. Nations are governed by justice. Our justice system must be sane. Let me quickly say this. Have you noticed that in this country, when you have a radical boy, probably a cultist, it has happened a lot of time in my locality, and probably this boy has some relatives abroad. They come together and say, let's take him abroad. And this so-called gangster in Nigeria or Edo State, when he gets abroad, he becomes sane. Why? I've seen a lot of them that were gangster. When he gets abroad, he becomes sane.
Because there's a system of ground.
Because there's a justice system that can anchor a governor. That can anchor a governor for breaking traffic light rule.
Okay, because the system
there's a system. That's what I'm saying.
I think that's why we were saying that there was no system.
There's no working system. There's no working system. Yes, there's no working system. We have systems that are dead.
You know
why they are dead? Let me say they are dead.
For what we say.
Hey, see, these are the realities, Phil. That's my problem, Phil. This is the era of freedom. If I say systems are dead, I have my reasons. See, the reason why we are where we are is because there is really no democracy in Africa. There is no freedom of speech and of association. We just have a situation where everybody is careful. But let me leave that aside. But the point is this.
Viewpoints?
You are telling me we have a government in place. What system is there when the system favors? You are reminding me to be careful because I may be picked up. You are telling me to take caution. Yet I'm not insulting anybody. I'm only telling you the situation as it is.
Connote free talk.
Yes.
Without minding the consequences.
Of course. There's no consequences.
There's no consequences. There
shouldn't be.
It's the
first right of resistance.
Okay, I'll come back to you.
It's the first right of resistance. But the point I'm trying to make is when we have a system that is weaker than some individuals, this is how we continue to recycle it. For me as a nation, we have not even started. We will only start counting the days of our freedom the day we start.
So in the year 2020, what are we looking at?
Number one,
to have a better
we
picture.
have to have a more powerful system than individuals. Because I want to see politicians go to jail for hate speech.
Okay, what about weaponry for the military in fighting insurgents?
For the military, first of all, I want to call for a thorough investigation into the military. We are tired of consistent voting billions into the military. So much has been voted. So for me, the military issue now is not the money problem, it's an integrity problem. I want to call for integrity. There is need for the military to be overhauled. If we have chieftains in the military that can't give us what we want, they should be changed immediately. Okay, because what Nigeria wants is not paper talk. It's practical. Are we safe? Are we secured? Then again, I want to call for the need, like I said before, our social justice system must be seen to be fair to all Nigerians, irrespective of tribe or religion. If you break it, you go in for it, irrespective of the godfather that is behind you. Because these are the reasons, these are the breeding ground for violence and insecurity. Okay. When people believe that they can do anything and get away with it, because they have a governor or they have a strong politician or a strong religious leader behind them, things are going to go in disarray. And that's exactly what we are faced with.
And that's what we don't want to be faced with.
That is exactly what we don't want to be faced with come 2020. So we must redefine our social justice system and see it to be such that it's fair, irrespective of your status or who you are.
Okay, thank you. That's a beautiful ride, and it isn't bumpy as I think it isn't. What's your viewpoint,
well,
Patrick?
Let's say, giving some support to what Osagi has just mentioned. First of all, we have to look at the judicial system. We have to make sure that if it's possible, we don't allow the state government to appoint the Attorney General of the state.
Okay, you mean Edo State?
Edo State for no,
national.
We shouldn't allow the presidency to appoint the CJ because they said he will pay the
details.
If we can do that, that would be great to us. And we also see if there's a way we can create a state police, it's very important.
Yeah, community.
Okay, the Americans have it. If you succeed there, you can also succeed. But we will do it in a way that the governors of the states will not have a right to control the state police. And also, too, we should try and see how we can speak directly to the men and women, speak to their conscience, that they must participate in these politics. You cannot say politics is not your business. Okay, it's our business. If you say it's not your business, then don't complain about roads that is bad. And we can also try to encourage the state and the federal government that if you must increase the tax or the VAT, or if we must pay taxes as citizens, that we have the right to question you, what are you doing with our tax money? Because it's criminal not to pay tax. For me, I said to people that I would rather pay my tithes, my taxes, and not pay my tithes to church. Because when I pay my tithes to church, I pay to pastor and his wife.
No, sir. Elder, no. I wanted to take you on your account of the church just now.
Okay, let me also say it again. We should try to respect people's opinion. Right? As I respected yours, I respected yours, let me also help. It might be different because if we don't tolerate each other and accommodate each other,
there'll be acrimony.
We cannot disagree to agree. Now, if I say what I've just said, you might not necessarily agree. Find a way to accommodate me and convince me that what I've said is right. Because if we take a shot, can we hear ourselves?
I think that's where we get to a point where we say that though there's freedom of speech, but it should be curtailed to a point where it doesn't interfere into others.
No, it doesn't be bad sentiment. Again, it doesn't trigger. Listen, it doesn't trigger violence. That would violence. Exactly what was about being radicalized here.
We disagree to agree.
Now, do you know that Donald Trump is the most cursed president in the world? He has not one day left and said, go and arrest Nancy Pelosi's daughter or sister.
The politics there is there.
That's the development. We are human too. We are developing. We are the real people.
When will we develop?
Are the Nubians. Africans are very smart people. I don't want to agree that we are not smart. We are very intelligent people.
Yeah,
if we are not intelligent, what now connect me and you together? I'm sure that I'm a very intelligent person. I know that I'm a very intelligent person. So, I'm telling you, so what we need is tolerance. And also too, we must tell our women to participate more in politics because women know how to save. Women, I don't want to say they even steal at all, but if they steal, they steal less. Men are known to be very extravagant.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I want to say that big thanks to you. That's the way of bringing issues that will escalate into other arguments, which we wouldn't want to do just now. Big thanks to you.
Thank you very much. Let me quickly correct an impression. Please, the tithe and everything that goes to church is not for the pastor. If you people should be looking at the other aspect where the church are. We are lending. We should also for the yes.
Thank you. Thank you. This is what we call it around. Big thanks for